Hello and welcome back to Swiftly. Today we're going to finish the final part of our 3-part tutorial. Where we were before is we'd created a reusable keyboard which will appear on multiple screens, and we've created our custom buttons. So now what we want to do is create a text field where we'll get the input of these buttons. So first things first, let's navigate to our storyboard file and let's input a label. And this label here is going to be responsible for showing us what we've typed on the keyboard on here. So let's just centralize it, make it a nice color, make it white. So now what we're going to do is we're going to hook our label up. So to do this, we'll just navigate to our view controller, as this is the class responsible for handling our view controller here. So let's click on it here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to implement our IB outlet. It's weak because it's an IB outlet and it's a variable. We'll give it the name output label. We'll make this a UI label, and it is explicit, so we'll leave an exclamation mark. Now we'll navigate back to our main storyboard and we will go to our label, click, control, hold and drag to our label and click output label. That's a lot of labels in one sentence. So as you can see now, our RB outlet is connected to our UI label. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bounce back to our keyboard view. Now here what we're going to do is implement a delegate. So when we implement a delegate, we simply write the word protocol. We give a delegate a name. So in this case I'll give it something simple called keyboard view delegate. And then we write class, because by writing class we make sure this is loaded as a class, so once the view is dismissed we don't have any retained loops. Then here it's going to be a required method, and required methods are implicit in Swift. So we'll just type away and it's going to be required methods. In this case our function will be keyboard button tapped, like so. And here's our function. Now we'll bounce back to our, actually just stay in this class for a second, we'll also implement our delegate here to make it accessible. So what we'll do is we'll implement our delegate here, and it's going to be of keyboard view delegate, of course. We'll leave a question mark just in case you want it to be optional. So now if we bounce back to our view controller, so in here we are going to declare our keyboard view like so. So just right here, keyboard view. This is of course an IB outlet, I apologize. So IB outlet, weak variable, keyboard view, and it is of keyboard view. We'll also make that explicit because it's going to be an IB outlet. Back to our storyboard. I'm going to connect this up again, so click and drag to our keyboard view like so. We'll connect it to keyboard view. And then our view did load, we're going to pass the delegate to our keyboard view protocol which we just created here. And if you're unsure about what I'm doing at the moment, I'm using delegates, and if you're interested in how to use delegates and you want a more descriptive example, then see my other tutorial. I'll leave a link on the screen now. But essentially we're going to pass our self, in this case our view controller class, to our keyboard view, so then it knows what to give our output back to. So keyboard view delegate equals self, like so. And then finally we're going to implement it on the top here, because we want to implement our delegate. So in case it would be keyboard view delegate. Of course, now it's going to come up with our does not conform to protocol warning, and this is because we have not implemented our function keyboard button tapped. Once we do that, this error will go away. But for now, let's bounce back to our keyboard view class, and let's do some logic for handling the output of our keyboard. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an IB action. IB action, if it's going to let me. So, and this is going to be responsible and called for every time a button is tapped. So, button tapped. Also pass the button sender, as we'll need that. In fact, we can be more explicit here. We can even refer to it as the circle button, because all our buttons are circle buttons. And then from here, what we're going to do is bounce back to our keyboard view again and connect these buttons to that method. So of course, just click and drag to that method. We'll just do this 9 times. You'll notice that if it's not connected, it will show a line. If it already is connected, it will show a dot, like so. Button tapped, button tapped, button tapped, button tapped, button tapped. Now, in order to determine what the difference between 1, 2, and 3 is, I'm going to set the button tags on these buttons as well. You could also get the button text. That could be another way of doing it. This is just this example implementation there. I think it'll be the quickest. So we've got 1 to 9. We'll now go to our button tags, which we'll find in the properties panel. If we go down to tag, that's 0, so we'll put that to 1. We'll put that to 2. We'll put this to 3. We'll put this to 4, and so on. And now we've done this, we're going to bounce back to our keyboard view in Swift. 9, 8, can't count. Like so. Okay, so now first things first, we're going to get our sender's tag. So in this case, we'll make it say NS string. Actually, let's make it a little bit nicer. Our NS integer equals our sender tag, like so. And of course, we'll give it a name. So in this case, button number, like so. And I'm writing it like Objective-C, which is really bad, isn't it? So what did I call it? Button number. So button number, like so. So now we've got our button number. We're going to call and pass this to our function. So we're going to slightly edit this so it can handle having our button number passed to it. So we'll just implement button number here, and it's going to be, of course, of NS integer. So now I've edited that. We'll go and enter self.delegate dot keyboard button tapped, and here we're going to put our button number, like so. So now, whenever our button is tapped, it's going to get our tag number, and then it's going to call a delegate, and wherever our delegate is entered or initialized, it's going to call this method. So, if we go back to our view controller, our method initialized here is our self, so it's our view controller class. So if we implement our keyboard button tapped here, like so, keyboard button tapped. Ooh, that looks like the old version. I'll just give it a quick build to update, like so. Keyboard button tapped, there it is. Now this error will go away. Hurrah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to implement our logic for updating the interface, and in this case, this is going to be pretty easy because this method is run every time we click a button. So in this case, we're going to update our output label text, and we're going to pass. We're going to make our number a string. So pass the format like so, and it's going to be %d and then we'll pass our button number. So essentially this is transforming our NS integer into an NS string, and this is our little modifier that we use to do that. So now when we run our application, we click our buttons, it updates with the appropriate label. So here you go, this is a pretty easy and customizable way of creating your own keyboard. As you can see here, now there's a large opportunity for you to clean this up and customize it some more, and make it so that, for example, instead of it just replacing the label, you could use the output label.text equals, let's put this, so we get the label.text string by appending string, so that of course this method will then add on to the string. So rather than replacing it, it will add on line, so it will be 4, 5, 6. So yeah, that should be it for this tutorial. If you have any questions, then please leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and get back to you. If you have any suggestions of where you'd like me to take this further, for example, if you want me to show you how to implement a back button, then I'll be happy to do that. So I hope you have an absolutely awesome day. If this helped you in any way, then please leave me a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Have any questions? Leave me a comment and I'll get back to you.